Midweek check-in, and we are tightening the core after yesterday's slate review. Here is exactly what we changed, what stayed and why. At quarterback, we are pivoting from Josh Allen to Justin Herbert at the 6,300. The salary relief plus a dash rank of 100 and a 21-point projection that is reliable with a long starting sample make this our preferred spend down. He draws Jacksonville, who have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 23, and his recent form is stable at 26, 29, and 15 fantasy points. Ownership is around 12%, giving us leverage off the chalkier tier. There has been national focus on Herbert's play this month, including Sunday night football coverage of his matchup spotlight, per multiple reports, which only underscores confidence in volume. We are still keeping Dylan Gabriel as the punt we flagged yesterday at 4,200. Baltimore have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 26. He is sub 1% owned. And the Browns being 1-4 with him as a starter per recent reports, plus calls for Shedder Sanders keeps risk high, but that is precisely the tournament profile we want at this tag after 20 and 14 in two of his last three. Running back is a change at the top. We are moving from Josh Jacobs to Jaylen Warren at 6,100. Cincinnati have the absolute worst defense overall by opponent rank 32, and Warren's dash rank is 100 with a 16-point projection and 14 per game on the season. He is pushing 30% ownership, which tells you the field expects the touch count to stay robust. Recent reporting on his 2-year extension through 2027 backs that workload confidence. We keep Kenneth Gainwell as our value RB at 4,100. He also faces Cincinnati, who have the absolute worst defense overall by opponent rank 32, and while his recent game log is thin, this is a pure salary unlock. Sports News Ireland recently highlighted his 2-touchdown day in Ireland, reminding us the goal line role can pop when the script cooperates. Wide receiver at the top does not change. We stay with Jamar Chase at 8,500 against Pittsburgh, who have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 27. Dash rank is 100, projection is 20, and he is averaging 22 per game with 41, 21, and 20 in his last three. Ownership around 18% is fair for this ceiling. He continues to stack records, including matching a Jimmy Smith milestone per recent coverage, and the matchup grade remains in our favor. For value, we stick with Christian Watson at 4,400. The Giants have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 29. Ownership sits near 5%, and he has shown salary-beating spike potential with 13 and 8 within his last three. This remains a price plus matchup bet. Tight end is where we make a strategic pivot. We are moving off Trey McBride and onto Kyle Pitts at 4,000. Carolina have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall by opponent rank 12, but Pitts carries a dash rank of 100 with a 9-point projection and a 3-game stretch of 15, 8, and 6. Ownership is near 0, giving us massive leverage. Trade chatter has been swirling, and Adam Schefter reporting that Atlanta intends to keep him signals continued investment in his role, which we read as a midweek buy signal at this salary. For our punt TE, we swap Jonnu Smith out for Jake Tongs at 2,500. Arizona have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall by opponent rank 15. Tongs is unowned, and this is a min salary large field dart after a 7-point pop 3 games back. Flex is a change at the top as well. We are moving from James Cook to Nico Collins at 6,700. Tennessee have one of the worst defenses overall by opponent rank 25. His dash rank is 100, projection is 17, and he is averaging 15 per game with a 26-point outing last week. Ownership near 15% is manageable for this ceiling and volatility profile. Injury roundup columns continue to highlight Houston's shifting skill group usage, and he has been featured in DFS recommendations recently, which supports the projection. Our value flex stays Pat Freiermuth at 3,200. He gets Cincinnati, who have the absolute worst defense overall, by opponent rank 32. Ownership is under 1%, and he brings 12-6 in 2 of his last 3. There has been talk about uneven quarterback play capping his numbers, per recent reporting, but the matchup softness and price keep him firmly in the pool. Defense is a midweek shift. We are rotating from the Texans to the Chargers at 2,800. Jacksonville have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall by opponent rank 19 on the other side. Ownership is about 6%, and the projection sits at 8 with a dash rank of 87. This fits our Herbert build and prices in additional upside if game script tilts positive. As a savings pivot, we will move to the Titans at 2,300. Houston have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, by opponent rank 15 on the other side. Ownership is around 7%, and this unit's recent 20, -1, and 4 illustrates the volatility we actually want at DST in tournaments. To recap the deltas from yesterday, we pivoted QB to Justin Herbert for salary efficiency and a favorable matchup against a defense that is one of the worst overall by opponent rank 23, while keeping Dylan Gabriel as the same punt for leverage. We replaced Josh Jacobs with Jaylen Warren because Cincinnati have the absolute worst defense overall by opponent rank 32, and Warren's role is reinforced by his extension. We kept Jamar Chase as our premium WR for the same matchup and ceiling reasons, and retained Christian Watson as the low-salary WR. We moved from Trey McBride to Kyle Pitts to capture sub-1% ownership and salary relief, and punted deeper with Jake Tangas at TE. We shifted flex from James Cook to Nico Collins to ride a soft opponent and fresh spike week, while keeping Pat Freiermuth as our cheap flex. And we rotated defense to the Chargers with the Titans as the new punt. If you are building around Herbert, consider the ownership and play the field by mixing Warren chalk with lower-owned Pitts or Titans DST. If you are fading Herbert, keep Dylan Gabriel in a small percentage of tournament lineups for the price leverage, accepting the volatility noted in recent Browns coverage. Good luck the rest of the week, and we will be back for final updates if news breaks.